Hey everyone, it's me again. I hope you're having a blast coding in the Star Wars universe, but I just wanted to take a quick break to show you what coding looks like to me and how I code. So on my screen, and I know it's a little bit small, but bear with me, you can see all of my code, right? And when I was programming, I had to write all of this down to do one specific thing. And in this case, it was to create a Pokédex. And you can see what I created right here, right? It has a list of Pokemon, it has their type, it has a color associated with their type, it has their name, it has their picture, and in this case, there's 150 of them. So this is something I created. I sat down, I coded this, and I programmed and I wrote a program that created this Pokédex. And you can see that program right here, right? You can see Pokemon count equals 150, and that lines up, right? Because earlier we saw right here 150 of these Pokemon, and that is something that I set. You can see colors, right? We saw earlier that the fire types were red, the grass types were green, and that is all set here. And you may be wondering, well, what is that? That's not a color, right? That looks like an FDD, FDF. What does that mean? Well, that's a hex code, and a hex code is essentially just a color, right? This just means red in terms of computers. You can see right here we've got a URL. Well, what's a URL doing here, right? Isn't that for websites and stuff? Isn't that what youtube.com? Well, yes, it is. But there are these things called APIs, and you'll learn all about those later. But it's essentially, I'm reaching out to a website and I'm saying, hey, give me some information. And that website's saying, here's your information. And then I'm using that information in my program. You can see like here's a create Pokemon card, and this is what creates all of these. You know, puts the number in there, puts the name, puts the picture. That's what all that is. And you can see all of this comes to create this. And it's just a bunch of words on a screen, right? Isn't it kind of crazy? Now I can prove it to you, right? You may be thinking, well, that doesn't actually do that. You know, there's no way that all these words you wrote down are actually creating a Pokédex. Well, actually it is, right? You can see 150, and if you'll remember from earlier, we have 150 Pokemon in there. Well, if I get rid of that, right, and now it's 50, and then I save it, and I close this, and I reopen it, and I drag this over, you'll see, right, I changed it from 150 to 50. So what do you think is going to happen, right? Pokemon count went from 150 to 50. Well, if I scroll down, right, now there's only 50 of them. So all of this is created by hand, by me, in this code. Now, you know, that's about all we're really going to go into it, but I just wanted to show you how coding looks when you're actually creating something as a professional. And as you start to get into languages like JavaScript, which is actually what this is written in, and you'll actually learn a bit about today, and what that actually looks like in terms of writing it down. Now, creating a Pokédex is only one thing you can do with code, right? Coding is infinite. You could do anything. R2-D2, you know, had to be coded. A BB-8 had to be coded. Artificial intelligence you'll hear about in the news and stuff. That has to be created. That's all just lines of code like this Pokédex is. So that's about all I have to show you, but I hope it sort of gives you an idea of what coding looks like in more of a professional setting. I hope you're excited to go back to coding in the Star Wars universe, and I hope you guys have a ton of fun because there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. Keep learning, keep going, keep coding, and you can create stuff like this too.